Hi everyone. So I tried to make a couple of videos, but it's just not flowing, so I thought I'd try this. Um, I just wanted to, first of all, thank everybody for their support and their kind, loving messages. And I don't want you to misunderstand. I'm not like super upset about losing my job or anything. It's more about what is going on in the world that upset me. And but yeah, I mean, it is a bit of a sting at the time. So, but as soon as I posted the video, I felt relief. I felt free. I felt like, okay, that's decided now. I'm not any longer sitting on that fence, and now I know that avenue's closed to me, so let's go in a different direction. And I'm okay with that. I just know that I'm going to be okay, whatever happens. Now, I do think that there's going to be some bumpy road ahead. I don't think it's going to be super easy, but just knowing that most of, everything that they do is fake, but it does have a real world impact. It's going to be a very weird experience. And I still say that they're going to bring the veil down, that everything is going to be revealed, because it has to be. And whether that's going to happen in September or December, September is a strong possibility. But yeah, I mean, it's likely that they're going to have another lockdown and tighter restrictions. But it really, who knows, because they seem to be, they don't operate on logic. So me trying to figure out what their tactics are going to be, there's not really much point. But basically, I think that they're just going to continue on doing what they're doing. I think at this point, what we need to do is direct our focus more on what we want and what we're doing. Yeah, keep a little eye on what they're doing, but not so much focused on them intensely. We need to put a lot of energy and attention into ourselves, into our personal development, into healing ourselves, doing the inner work. That's where we need to direct our attention. And into spending a lot of time meditating, a lot of time alone, a lot of time figuring out what it is that you want in a new world and what your life is going to be. I think one of the beautiful things I've seen lately, and this is really the point of why I wanted to make this video, audio, whatever, is because some of the things that I've seen lately have been so powerful and so exciting to me. I've seen comments from people who are like, I'm not putting up with this anymore. I'm done. I'm not participating in this nonsense anymore. I'm done. And I just love that. I absolutely love it. I love I just love the energy behind it, the empowerment behind it, the strength behind it, the certainty, and the humor. There's humor in it, and it's so divine. It's so it tickles me. Like, it's wonderful. And then there's people, I see comments from people saying that they have quit their job and moved to a whole new neighborhood to start a whole new life. And that astounds me as well. And it excites me as well, because I mean, you're kind of put in a position where it's like, well, what have I got to lose now? I can just do something that I've always wanted to do. And people are just throwing everything out and starting all over again, which I think is absolutely wonderful. So that kind of thing I find is really exciting. Another thing that I've noticed is, and it's not just me who's noticed this, but is that there's been more people finding each other and coming together in the physical world. It's not just over technology anymore. And in some ways it is over technology, but I feel like there's even a stronger bond. There's a stronger coming together of people who are awake. And a lot of that is in the truth community. A lot of that is in the physical. They're making ways for people to meet up and stick together. And I think it's important that we look out for each other and be supportive of one another and connect with one another. So that's exciting to me too. And I feel that the last few days, the last week, I guess, I've been doing a lot of meditating and getting a lot of insight into things that are going on. And I guess some people would call it downloads, or some people call it I don't know, downloads I guess is good enough. But I just feel that there's a definite shift happening, and I feel that there's more information coming, more truth coming, more reveals coming. There's things that I've been privy to, there's things that I've seen that I'm still working on and making connections with, and other people connecting to it and adding to it. And what's also exciting is when you're talking to somebody who is on your level of awareness, and you build on it together and you discover new things together. That is exciting, and that is it's just a delicious moment. It feeds you in a way that no other kind of conversation can. And that's happening a lot. Just little moments of revelation, little insights, little pieces of depth, little pockets of truth. And those kinds of conversations are priceless. And so I feel that the more that we have these kinds of conversations, the more that we recognize this in ourselves and in each other, the less tolerance and the less patience. I guess tolerance and patience isn't the right word. It's more of an inner intolerance and an inner impatience, I guess, with the mundane. I mean, I can sit and enjoy a conversation with someone who's totally ingrained in the system, totally ingrained in the material, and has absolutely no clue about what's going on. And I can have a pleasant interaction because of the person that they are and because of the relationship that I have with them. And I understand that that's where they're at. And, I can drop a couple of seeds here and there. But I don't see it as, generally speaking, I don't see it as a teaching opportunity. I don't go into any of these situations thinking, oh, I have to drop some truth. I'm never thinking that way with people. If it comes up in the conversation, they start talking about something that's related, like transgenders that they spot on television, or and inevitably anything that we talk about, there's going to be some issue that they touch on that is connected to truth, that gives you an opportunity to say something. But I don't really go into it thinking, oh, I must tell them something. And yet, at the same time, I see little glimmers of hope in these people who are ingrained in the system, they seem to be picking up on things. They seem to be more aware of things, and little pieces here and there, but they're not able to connect the dots. So perhaps there's a little bit of an opportunity there, a little bit of hope there. Anyway, I kind of just wanted to share that the experiences I've been having, and a lot of things I've been doing is focusing on things that I enjoy, because now that the weather is really beautiful, it's my favorite time of year. I love the heat. I love summer and spring, and I just like laying on the grass. And so every day I will take my blanket and I'll go sit on the grass in the park. I will write notes and read my books, and just sometimes I will sit there and meditate. And one time I went and I was lying in the sun, in direct sunlight. I didn't burn. I lay there for 2 hours meditating, had no idea where all the time went, saw some spectacular things, had some brilliant insights, and it was just a delightful, wonderful, magical experience, and I felt so high, and it was just magical. And I just thought, this is heaven to me. This little moment, just sitting here in the park, meditating, enjoying the feel of the grass on my feet, the sunshine on my skin, and I'll open my palms and feel the sunshine on my palms, which seems a little bit more intense than the rest of my body. And then I'll kind of communicate with the trees somehow. And then there's people walking their dogs, and they come over and say hello, and people walking by, and I'll say hello, and it's just peaceful. And even all of the people who aren't aware of any of it, they seem to be at peace as well. There seems to be this calm, this total obliviousness of all of the nonsense on the media. And maybe that's just from my perspective, but it's just because even if they talk about it, they're not reacting to it. They're not doing anything about it. Nobody around my immediate vicinity is walking around wearing masks. So it's almost as if it's not happening. And so anyway, this is my little piece of heaven. I get up in the morning and I sit in my kitchen with my little cafe table, and I have a beautiful view out the window of leafy green trees, and I can see into the park. I have the window open, and it's coming across my flowers that I have on the windowsill. And I sit there and I have my breakfast, and I'll listen to a YouTuber I like to listen to, and have a really nice start to my day, think about what I want to do for the day. And I think I feel so abundant, I feel so wealthy, I feel so grateful just to have my little space, and I have it the way that I like it, and I have the opportunity to do the things that I enjoy doing. And there's no time, there's no pressure, there's no rush, there's no deadlines. There's nobody saying to me, you have to be here at this time on this date, and you have to get this done by here and this time, or else. And not that I am adverse to that necessarily. It's just a completely different flow. It's a completely different energy. And when you're driven by doing things that you love doing, and driven by that joy, you do more of it. You don't even notice that you're doing it most of the time. You're just like, oh, I feel like doing such and such right now. And then you do it, and you say, well, what did I actually do today? I feel like I haven't done anything. But then you go through your day, and you're like, oh, I actually did quite a lot. So... Oh, and then I'll go for walks. I'll go for walks with some friends of mine, and we have some wonderful conversations and come to some epiphanies. And then that feeds me as well, and I feel like, oh, I haven't gone for a walk, and I forget that I went for a walk because we were so engrossed in talking. And these walks are like 2 hours or 3 hours sometimes. And so I don't know about you, but those little things, those little moments, I feel are so wonderful and calming and beautiful. And those are the things that I want to focus on. Those are the things that I appreciate and delight in, and even just getting up in the morning or lying in my bed or walking around my apartment and feeling the hardwood on my feet and just being appreciative of having my own space and not having to deal with people all day long who are asleep, who don't get it. And because in my own space I have freedom of expression. I can say what I want, I can do what I want, I can create what I want. I don't have somebody watching over my shoulder like I used to when I lived in the last place, watching what I eat and wondering, how do I copy this person? And so I just have complete freedom, and I'm focusing on that, and I'm enjoying that and appreciating that. So hopefully I can build on that, because that feeling of freedom is very reassuring. It's very light, it's very loving, it just feels safe and secure and light and comforting. And so anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. It's just a little bit of magic, I think, is here, and we have to keep tabs on that, keep hold of that, and keep focusing on it. And it's shining through. And I feel too, and I've said this before, I feel too like our power is just starting to grow, and I can sense how strong it is. And so if we keep focusing on that and it grows and magnifies, then that power, it is unstoppable, and it is a strong power, and it's a beautiful power. And I wanted to add this too. Quite a lot of people are still angry. I mean, from time to time, I get angry as well. We all do. Angry at the system, angry at what's going on, and it's hard not to be when it has real world repercussions and affects your life and is very frustrating. And I feel that there's obvious necessity in it. It's happening. There's no avoiding it. And yeah, it stings, and it's fine to feel it. It is fine to feel it. Just don't live in it. If you're living in the anger and you're living in the fear and you're living in the despair, it's not going to help us. It's not going to help you. And so it's fine to feel it. Absolutely fine to feel it. It's like if a pet dies or a family member dies, it's fine to feel it. You can't always just go from some great loss or tragedy or wound or infliction immediately to seeing the bright side of things. You can't always do that. Some people can, but for the most part, most people can't. So to expect yourself to just not feel it and not be affected by it, especially since we haven't gone through anything like this before, is a little bit unrealistic. So feel it and be okay with feeling it, but don't live there. Process it, heal it, move on from it, take it and say, okay, this is how I feel. Now, how do I want to feel? Because there are times where you look at this stuff and you think, wow, like, we don't stand a chance. They've been planning this for thousands of years, and we're just new to this. We're just waking up. We're just seeing it, and there's not enough of us. And, you start to get a little bit you get full of despair. But it's not going to help. Even if it's true and we never, we're never going to win, or we're never going to come out of this, or whatever, it's not helpful to dwell on that. And I don't even think that it is true. I feel that there has to be a reason. There has to be a reason for us for waking up. And the reason that they're pushing so hard against it is because we're waking up. So there wouldn't be this contrast. There wouldn't be any pushback if there wasn't something to push against. So they're pushing against it for a reason, and we're waking up for a reason. So this is what I have to hold on to. Even when it looks horrible, even when it looks dire, and you can look at things, you can look at all of this information, and especially like the scary shill information, and it can make you terrified, it can make you fearful and paranoid and hopeless, and it doesn't help you. But sometimes when you get all wrapped up in that, your perspective shifts, and that's all you see. And we forget about the good side, because they take our attention and force us to focus on what they're doing. That's what narcissists do. Pay attention to me. Pay attention to what I'm doing, and forget about you. Forget about what you want. Forget about what's important to you, because what's important is what I want. That's the narcissistic mind. So we have to do our best to move away from that and not give them our attention all the time, or at least be aware a little bit of what they're doing so that you can be prepared. But turn around and focus on what you want. Pay attention to you. Do your work. And remember that there's others out here that are doing it too. And it's easy for us to forget that. So anyway, just wanted to share that with you, and I will talk to you soon. All right, bye.